Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to another reading. As usual, we're here every week giving you guidance on how best to move through these shifting and changing energies as the more I tune into the energies, the more chaos these energies feel like. But realistically, I kept on receiving the messages. It's always darkest before the dawn, because what's happening now is that, as I've said in previous videos, is the whole world is going through a major shift. The earth is going through a major shift. And as usual, everything happens in cycles. And so this is not an unexpected shift. This was a shift that was spoken about through many different ancient civilizations. And even in the book of Revelations in the Bible, we are literally living through these times as we speak. And so these messages are here to really help you to better manage your energies and to help you get a bit more understanding as to what is happening each week, and giving you general tips and advice as to how best to manage this. So yes, the changes that are occurring is we are literally moving into new times. We are moving into new energies. A cycle is coming to the end. The civilization that has been around for thousands of years is falling. And again, I talk about how we exist in a matrix system, and where this matrix system is really here to deceive us and to suck on our energy as we go through the process of learning who we are. As I said previously, again, we are in a 7 universal year now in 2023. And this is really the year of truth. So many truths are slowly being released on a general level, but also many truths internally as we start to remember who we really are, as we start to remember who we are beneath the surface of all the trauma and the wounding and the unhealed wounds that carry forward. Because we don't talk only about wounding that occurs in this lifetime, but remembering, beautiful souls, that we are soul beings having our human experience, and our souls live on even when our physical vessels die. So what's happening is that we are being asked to shift alongside with it, and we are also looking at woundings that occurred in previous lives. Because the only reason that there are so many souls on this planet today, again I say, is because so many people are here to heal through karma. As time is speeding up, the amount of healing that can be done in a shorter amount of time is quite extraordinary in comparison to past years. So we're really being called to go internally. We're really being called to go inwards and to pay more attention to what it is that we truly desire for ourselves. So a few days ago, I think it was on Friday, the 14th, that we actually had the new moon in the sign of Virgo. So what do new moons represent? Well, they represent the beginning of a new cycle, at least a new energetic cycle. And Virgo, representing the Virgin, is all about harmony and self-love and health. And it is about being there for others. But the best way in which we can be there for others is to be there for ourselves, because hurt people hurt people. So when we are walking around wounded and unhealed, then we hurt people. We hurt people, even if this is happening on an unconscious level, it is happening nonetheless. And the more that we take time to go inwards and pay attention to our wounds and where we need healing, then the more that we can inspire others to heal as well. So with the new moon, specifically the energies that were coming in for Virgo also, is a time for structure and organization. The archetype of Virgo is really having the ability to be it's an earth sign. So whilst we have all kind of been up in the airs, and maybe a lot of us have been in our minds, and there's been a lot going on energetically, we're now being asked to ground that energy. Many of us have been in the process of manifesting as we are calling in the future self that we desire to be, and setting in the foundation for who we wish to be in this new earth. But so whilst we've been thinking about these things and feeling these things and meditating on these things and really just contemplating all of these things, as we had 7 planets in retrograde recently, with Mercury going direct also on Friday. And when a planet is retrograde, essentially what that means is that it is a time to go inwards. The energy of that planet almost is in a calm, somewhat hibernation state, which pushes us to go inwards and to really start to question and reassess and reevaluate, which is what I mentioned in last week's video. So now we're being asked to ground. So essentially, when we receive these, when we receive information and downloads from the non-physical realm, at some point we have to start taking action. And this is where most people fail in their manifestation, because they aren't able to take action or do not feel that they have the right the willpower or the strength to take the action that is needed in order to move forward with the downloads that you are receiving. And now when I talk about downloads, I talk about the insights that you receive, whether you are in meditation, whether you are in prayer, whether you are in conversation with the universe, with God, whatever you want to call it. But any insights that you receive, even when you are in a dream state, whether this is when you're sleeping and dreaming at night, or even when you're just daydreaming, you are technically visiting another dimension where you are more open to receive information from the non-physical realms. But if you do not take action on these insights, then, well, these actions will just be passed on to the next person who is willing to take these insights. So we're really being called to ground our energy, to take time to pay attention as to how we can really bring our desires into the physical form, because we too have to actually be taking action in order for these things to come to us. So that might be something as simple as, sending out an email to a certain person, or, action doesn't have to be something major. It could even just be reaching out to a friend and telling somebody about the insights and the ideas that you have, because once we put things out there, we're sort of calling them in and we're anchoring them in more. So again, with these earth energies that we are experiencing at this time, yes, we really are being called to take action. And part of that action is really reassessing, because some of us, we can get overly excited sometimes and it can be a little bit difficult to focus. So essentially what's happening now is that we are being asked to identify where we are leaking in our energies, and we are maybe spending a lot of energy on things that are not in alignment with whatever it is that we are manifesting. So take a moment to just reflect back onto your life for a moment and think about what aspects of your life you are continuing to feed energetically, but that might need to come to a close, because again, we are all about new beginnings. Also means the closing of old cycles. So we are being called to identify where there are still aspects of ourselves that no longer are in alignment or in tune with the version of us that we are becoming. So let's dive into the cards. So the first card that came here is Memory of Atlantis, spiritual acceleration, progress and technology. Yes, beautiful souls. Excuse me. What is happening now is that we are literally revisiting, as I said, everything happens in cycles. And what is happening now is that, many of you might have heard about the Great Atlantis, and some people say that this was a made up place. But, when I tune into the energetics, I know I've had memories of being in Atlantis when Atlantis fell. And what's happening is I see the similarities right now as to the ways in which Atlantis fell and how this current civilization is falling. And the example I can share is that one of the reasons why Atlantis fell was because they had reached such an advanced level of intelligence that the scientists at that time were starting to play around with gene therapy. And they were starting to cross-reference different genes and starting to manipulate different DNAs, whether this is human, animal, and to create various chimeras, which is what we're seeing today. And this leads to the creation of things that are not natural. And this goes against the universal laws of nature and the universal laws of the universe, the cosmic laws of the universe. If you want to find out more about that, I did an episode on my podcast. I've included a link in the description box below. But essentially, Atlantis had to fall because the people in Atlantis, and not everybody, but certain people in higher levels of society, were playing with fire. And this would lead to essentially, because let me take a step back here. Essentially, what happens is, just as Earth, we talk about all of the different planets in our solar system, but Earth too is a planet in that solar system. And just like how all the different planets emit a certain vibrational frequency, that affects us here on planet Earth. The same goes in the reverse, where Earth also emits a certain vibrational frequency, which has an impact on the rest of our solar system. So when they were starting to play around with the things that they were playing with, and they were also playing around with energy frequencies, which is something that is also being used today, and which is also being used in modern in spiritual warfare, where these are new technologies that are being used to bombard us with different frequencies. And this is why many of us might be feeling a chaos energy, where we feel that we are all over the place energetically, and it's a sort of emotional roller coaster where we don't quite know where we're going, and we don't, we might be feeling overwhelmed. And I too have been feeling a lot of these moments where I kind of like, where are these thoughts coming from? Because sometimes I don't know whether they feel like my own. But essentially, these technologies that are being used against us now are the same technologies that were used in Atlantis. And this is why we, the beings of light, are being called to raise our frequency and raise our vibration so that we can essentially raise to a certain vibrational frequency where we are no longer affected by these frequencies. And the thing is, even though we can, everyone is talking about raising their vibration and raising their frequency, but it is important to be able to maintain that high vibration and that high frequency, which is why we are being asked to reassess all of the things in our lives that are no longer allowing us to elevate in our energy, but are rather pulling us down. And the first thing that comes to me here are relationships, because it is so easy for us to get pulled into codependent or toxic relationships, not realizing that they are actually draining us. But these relationships, when they drain us, they also serve as a teaching opportunity for us to learn where we are being drained of energy and where we need to put up our boundaries. So there is a sense of spiritual acceleration that is going on at this time, which is what many of us are feeling. And it is because the energies of the earth, as we know, are changing. But this is because the vibrational frequency of the earth, which is the Schumann resonance, has also been speeding up for a time, which is why we're also experiencing time speeding up, because we are progressing spiritually. But as we progress spiritually, we start to access internal technology, internal gifts and abilities that will allow us to that will help us to move through these times with more ease. So the next card we have is Ancestral Realm. Yes, karmic release, healing the lineage, boundaries. Yes, beautiful souls, if you are here at this time, it is because your soul chose to come here and to be the one that would heal the lineage. And you might find yourself as the black sheep of the family, or you might have felt that you never really fit in, you never really see the world in the same eyes as those around you. And that's a good thing. It's because you came here to stand out, and you came here to teach. You came here to bring in new information. And it's interesting because what's popping out to me here is the boundaries card, which I just touched on. Is, many of us, especially those of us who are empathic and who have big hearts and can tune into the feelings of other people without necessarily knowing that we're doing it. This is also about learning to put up energetic boundaries. It is important to start to protect ourselves energetically, because these energies, my friends, are not playing. And once you fall, and it is so easy for these negative energies to come in and to bombard us. And it's interesting, a friend of mine was telling me the other day how it was beautiful that she is on her own journey, but she realized that we are also partially responsible for when we receive these energetic or psychic attacks. So we have to ask ourselves, what am I doing in order for these attacks to reach me? Because everything comes with cause and effect. So there is always a reason for something that is happening. But when you start to question the reason why something is happening, then you will be able to get to the crux of the matter a lot faster. So yes, where are you not putting up your energetic boundaries? Where are you still allowing people to walk all over you and being pulled in different directions because, you know, you feel people, and it's easy for you to be manipulated because someone will just look at you with their, with their puppy dog eyes and say, please, I need your help. But the thing is, if that thing is not serving you, then you must say no. It is important that you start putting yourself first, because if you don't put yourself first, then nobody ever will. And you will continue to get bombarded with these energies, and you will continue to be a victim of psychic attacks and energetic attacks, which you have the ability to control. So, yes, heal the lineage. Pay attention to the things within your own family that you did not resonate with, and know that these are things that you came to heal. If there were certain things that everyone in your family does, or the majority of the people in your family do, and you don't resonate with those things, it's because that wounding stopped with you. That wounding, you decided to come in and stop that wounding so that you can start to cleanse the DNA and the cellular construct of your lineage. Yes. Then the next card we have here is Sirius Star Blessings. Yes. Proceed. Be seen. Push through. Beautiful messages here. And yes, with the 8-8 Lionsgate portal that we had in August, which was really about connecting to the Sirius Gateway. And Sirius, they say, is our second galactic sun. And they talk about, again, coming back to the cycles. We have been through many cycles on this planet. They talk about the Golden Age, the Silver Age, the Bronze Age, and the Iron Age. And well, we are coming out of the Iron Age and starting to move into the Golden Age. And the Golden Age is basically a time which existed in past civilizations like that of Atlantis or Lemuria or ancient Egypt, where consciousness was very elevated. And what that means is that people were a lot more advanced because they were operating from a higher space, they were operating from a higher intelligence. And they say that consciousness rises on this planet when Sirius comes closer to our galactic sun. And so Sirius has been getting closer, which is why we have been seeing consciousness raising on this earth, which is why topics such as spirituality and consciousness and, the New Age movement has been becoming more and more mainstream as the years have been passing. It is because we are being opened up to receive our star blessings. And these are even things that were spoken about in the Bible, where a time would come where blessings would be restored upon this earth. But in order for blessings to be restored upon this earth, well, the current non-blessings that are in existence on this earth at this moment, well, they have to fall. There is always going to be as good comes, and this, I guess, comes back to why it is always darkest and before the dawn. It's because something has to crumble. The phoenix has to burn to ashes before it can rise again. And in an essence, we are all the phoenix rising from our ashes, but we all need to burn. And that process of burning is really about identifying. This process of identifying all the parts of ourselves, all the parts of our lives, whether these be thought patterns, behavioral thought patterns, beliefs, um, you know, people we surround ourselves with, the jobs that we find ourselves in, the things that we continue to feed energy to. And again, coming back to Virgo, is all about the habits, because what creates all the small habits we have is what creates our belief system. It's what creates our persona and our character, because the person who we are is the sum of all the small little things that we do. So people say that the small things don't matter, but actually Virgo will will say the opposite here, because Virgo is all about understanding the small minute details in order to create the bigger whole. And once you have control of all the small minute details, maybe control is not the right word to use here, but once you have awareness and comprehension of how all of these things work, then you see how they all work together, because everything at the end of the day is one thing, all working in harmony. So you are being pushed through to be able to receive your blessings, because many of us don't know how to receive. Many of us, at least those of us who are givers, and most of you who will find yourself on this video, it is because you are a natural giver. And when you are a natural giver, that is who you know yourself to be. So when it comes to be in a state of receiving, it's almost scary, because you don't know yourself as the version of you who learns to receive. So yes, you are being asked to proceed. You are being asked to be seen. You are being asked to push through and to share your light with others, because now more than ever is when the light needs you. The next card we have is Pleiadian Activation. Yes, coming together, harmony in the heavens, resolution. And really, when I don't know why when I think about this, like, the downloads that I've been receiving, and many of you might have heard of the concept of the firmament, or you might not have, but you can go and research this. But essentially, they say that we are living or have been living under a dome, under a protective dome. And it's interesting because I recently went back to watch the series Under the Dome, which came out in like 2015. And it's incredible how movies will literally tell us in our face the reality of what is going on at this time. So take time to actually watch movies and start decoding, because Hollywood essentially is the seat of the propaganda machine. And how is it that 8 billion people are all kind of tuned into the same narrative? Well, again, it's because we are all being programmed in a in a specific way, and we are being programmed to look at the world through a specific lens. But essentially, they say that we have been in quarantine, that the earth has been in quarantine. And in a sense, the earth has been in quarantine because the vibrations of the planets have been so low that higher dimensional beings of light have not been able to find the earth. When all these, light beings are cruising through the stars on their galactic starships and have been looking to want to come to Earth to help us, because, like I was saying earlier, when one planet is not in harmony, then the whole galaxy is out of harmony. And because Earth has not been in harmony, well, the galaxies have been out of harmony, and many star beings have wanted to come in to aid us in this process. But because the vibrational frequencies of the Earth have been so low, they have not been able to come in and reach us, which is why so many of you who have been praying and asking for help and asking for guidance and have not been receiving it, it is because the God that is of love, the God that is of truth, the God that is not one that is asking for sacrifice of our children, but one that is asking for us to bring love, joy, and harmony to this world. That God has not been able to send you your blessings because of the lower vibrational frequencies. But the more we elevate our vibration individually, the more we help Mother Earth and this planet raise her vibration, so that we may all be open to receive our blessings. And so, yes, there is a coming together. There is harmony in the heavens. And if you look up to the skies, you will see there is a lot of activity going on in the stars and in the skies at night. There is so much activity. Even online, there are so many videos popping up of interesting things that are happening in the skies. This is showing us that, yes, harmony in the heavens is occurring. Slowly, we are coming back together, and resolution is slowly coming forward. We are living through incredible times, beautiful souls. I mean, if you are alive today, I promise you, just like how all these, scriptures in all the different religions were written, all those however many hundreds of thousands of years ago, these are the times where some new books will be written, and you, my beautiful souls, will be part of these prophecies. The next card we have is Temple of Truth. Yes, throat chakra, authenticity, self-expression. Beautiful card here yet again. Beautiful souls. We are being asked to open up to the Temple of Truth. And as Revelations, this was the only book I was ever called to read in the Bible. And it was crazy, the downloads I received when I read this book, because many people keep looking, it's incredible, because spirituality has almost been taken out of religion. And I'm sorry if I offend people here, this is really not my intention, but spirituality is helping us to remember that we each and every single one of us have a direct communication to God, to the universe, to the non-physical realm. We do not need other people to communicate these messages for us. We just need to learn to be open. We need to learn how to hear them and to receive them. And so, revelations basically means that things will be revealed. And are we not living in a time right now on this planet where so many new things are being revealed? I mean, even NASA came out to talk about UFOs, and the US government is talking about, I mean, they're now terming them UAPs, but nonetheless, cosmic disclosure is happening. But we also, because remember, the temple, the true temple of God is inside, because God resides inside of us. The universe resides inside of us, because inside of us, but also all around us, is our soul. And remember, our soul is non-tangible. What is giving life to this vessel? It is something that cannot be touched. So we are being asked to open up to the truth inside of our temple. We are being asked to express our authenticity. We are being asked to express our higher self in human form. And this is where literally earth is coming to meet heaven. Or should I say, heaven is coming to meet earth. But heaven and earth meet inside of us, because the crown connects us to the heavens, our feet connects us to the earth, but our heart is where those two connect. So once we start to open our heart and express ourselves, because they say authenticity is the highest vibration, because when you are being authentic, when you are being your true authentic self, then it means the highest version of you, your soul version of you, is actually what is coming out. And we all came here to be unique, beautiful souls. As much as we are 8 billion people on this planet, no two people on this planet are alike. Every single one of us is unique, and every single one of us came here to share our song, to share our frequency, to vibrate our light. And especially for the feminines out there, we have been oppressed for so long, living in a system that has put us down, that has not allowed us to be in our power. But this also goes to the men out there. You have not been allowed to tune in to your feminine energies. And this, the main thing I want to say is your emotions. You are not able to feel through your hearts. Beautiful souls, we must learn to connect to our emotions. This is the key to this process. The more you can learn to be in tune with your emotions, the easier this process will become. Interesting. We have Temple of Truth, and the next card that comes is Sacred Temple. Yes, beautiful souls. Remember that we, human beings, were created in the image of the gods. This human body, was created so that our divine self could come out of the heavens and experience this physical reality, because the physical reality is the most densest of them all. But it is here that we come to learn major, major lessons, because we cannot fully know love until we feel it. And here, the thing is, when we are not in these physical vessels, we know all of these things. Our knowledge is so vast and our knowledge is so deep, but we do not fully embody it. So this is the beauty of being here in physical form, because we each have our individual experience, yet we can still tap into the energy of the collective. But when we learn to experience love, when we learn to experience sadness, when we learn to experience all of the emotions on the spectrum, we start to comprehend things in a different way. And yes, sacred temple is the body. When we learn to honor our temple, when we learn to connect to our physical bodies, and unfortunately, because most of humanity is traumatized, and when I talk about trauma, I don't talk about a horrific car accident, I talk about the trauma and the wounding that we experienced in childhood. And a lot of that trauma and wounding is in the way that we were treated. And unfortunately, this system works on abusing children, because children are not loved, children are not are not nurtured and held and allowed to express their light. We are not allowed to express our emotions when we are children. We are abused and wounded so many times emotionally. And this is not done on purpose. This is passed down from generation to generation, because until we heal our wounds, they remain stuck within our cellular structure. So we repeat them unconsciously without knowing. But when we learn to tune into our temple, and our temple is as much our body, it is as much our mind, it is as much our soul, it is as much our emotions. They talk about mind, body, soul, in the church, as much as they talk about the I can't even remember what they talk about, but they have the divine three. And the divine three relates to the mind, the body, and the soul. And once we learn to nurture each and every one of these, and these words, mind, body, soul, it's become a little bit new age and new stream, but it is true. Once we start to pay attention to the health of our body, the health of our mind, the health of our emotions, suddenly we will start to move through this world in a different way, because we are no longer moving through the world from a place of trauma and a place of hurt and a place of wounding. The first step of the journey, beautiful souls, is awareness. Once you start to pay attention and have awareness to how you too are responsible for what is happening in your life, then we can stop playing that victim and say, poor me, and yes, to an extent, poor me and poor you out there, and take time to nurture that part of yourself, but don't get stuck there. You can move through, and the easiest way to move through and to move forward is forgiveness. Forgive yourself first and foremost, because you did the best you could with what you had. Forgive those around you, because they too did the best they can with what they had. Because remember, this system wounds us, this system hurts us. And until we take the time to step out, pay attention, and notice where we are allowing the wounding to be perpetuated, then it's difficult to move out of this position. And the next card we have is the shift. Yes, beautiful souls, we are going through a shift, individually, energetically, collectively, galactically, cosmically. There are so many shifts that are occurring at this time, and it is insanity. These energies are not joking. For me, who is someone who is very, very grounded, even I have felt overwhelmed, have felt dark thoughts, dark emotions coming up, and rather than, chastising myself and allowing that old voice of, meanness to come in and be horrible to myself, I have to remind myself to be kind and to be gentle and to nurture myself and to be the mother that I wish that I could have had, or to be the mother that I no longer have, and to learn how to nurture ourselves. We all must learn to parent ourselves. We have to learn to become the best mother we ever had and the best father that we ever had. Because when we learn to nurture and parent ourselves, then it becomes easier to interact with the world around us. It becomes easier to interact with our children, especially those of us who have children. There are so many parents who are not, if you are not aware, you are not aware of how you are passing these things on to your children. And the thing is, children are so much more sensitive than we are. Something that doesn't seem like a big deal as an adult is so traumatic for a child. So we have to remember how to be loving and kind to our children, and to have patience, and to have nurturing energy, and to learn to listen, and to learn to give them our time, and to learn to give them our energy, and just to play with them and listen to them and nurture them and love them. Because if we all had this in our childhood, then we wouldn't all be walking around broken, and we wouldn't be living in a broken world. Because the only reason that we are broken is because negative entities enter into us through the parts of ourselves that are broken, to the parts of ourselves that are in low vibration, which is why I talk about having to elevate above and beyond the light. Yes, the next card we have is sacrifice. And the sacrifice, we are being asked to pay attention to what it is inside of us that we need to sacrifice. We are being asked to go inwards and to pay attention to, again, what I was saying earlier, where our energy is leaking, where we are spending energy on things that are not allowing us to vibrate high, that are not allowing us to elevate in our vibration. So pay attention to what parts of you need to sacrifice, or what parts of you have already been sacrificing for the benefit of others. Then we move to Fire Guardian. Ignite your passions. Yes, you are being asked to ignite your passions. And I want to show this with the next card, which is Shapeshifter. Transform and unveil your gifts. Yes, beautiful souls. You are being asked to awaken to who you truly are. You are being asked to go inwards and to discover your gifts and to unveil those gifts and all these things that you have passion about, all these things that get your heart soaring and get you excited. These are the things that you came here to do. This is the version of you came here to be at this time, because we all came here to experience love and joy and freedom and fulfillment. So when you are living a life where you do not feel these things, then you have to question whose rules have you been playing by, because they're certainly not yours. Because if you were playing by your own rules, then you would be feeling joy and you would be feeling happiness and you would be feeling fulfillment. So where are you not allowing yourself to see your gifts? Where are you even hiding those gifts away because maybe other people previously told you that your light is too bright and it is not okay to shine? Well, I am here to tell you right now that you must shine your light, that the universe is asking you to shine your light, because you are a lighthouse. And your light is here to call in the ships and to show others that it is safe to come home. It is safe to come home to the portal of your heart. It is safe for you to be in your power. Break through the tension. Full moon in Scorpio. Yes, beautiful souls, what is happening is that humanity is going through its dark night of the soul. And what does that mean? Well, essentially, it means that all the yucky stuff, all the things that have been hidden deep beneath the shadows, and that is the thing, is that when we have shame and we have guilt, what do? We sweep it under the carpet, and we don't want anyone to see. We don't even want to see. We put blinders on, and we don't want to see because we're told it's yucky and we're told it's bad. And the thing is, we all do bad things. That is part of the learning experience. We all do yucky things. We all do things that might not be good, but those are learning opportunities. Instead of hiding them beneath the surface and, looking away and then feeling shame and guilt, which leads us to go and, maybe drink or smoke or, have sex or watch porn or whatever it is, all these coping mechanisms that we develop because we don't want to see, we want to turn a blind eye, and we don't want to face reality because we don't want to face our darkness. But we all have darkness inside of us, and that darkness is what we came here to heal. So the sooner you start looking at your darkness and embracing it, because our darkness is also, as my sister always says, the wound is where the healing is, and the wounding is where the gift is, because it is in healing our wounds that we discover our true self, we discover our authentic self. And do not feel shame, do not feel guilt, just forgive. Forgive with all of your heart, because the sooner you can forgive, the sooner your heart can let go of those lower vibrational emotions, which are the ones keeping you back. And yes, you can be angry, and yes, you can be hurt for the wounding that was done to you, and that is valid, and that is warranted, and that is okay. But it is time to move on, because you are not allowing yourself to be your best self because of that wounding. But that wounding was in the past. We are now in the present, and we are looking towards the future. And we no longer wish to live the future as we did the past. But the gift is the present, because right now we have the ability to change the way we do. We have the ability to change the way we see ourselves, and to just have compassion and love for ourselves. Next card, new moon in Aquarius. Open up to change. Yes, beautiful souls, we are all being asked to change. We are being asked to change individually. We are being asked to change collectively. We are being changed mentally, physically, emotionally, and most of all, spiritually. Because we are now at a time where spirit is coming to meet the earth. As the vibration of the earth continues to elevate, we are becoming more spiritual light beings. But this is why not everyone is going to make this transition. Not everyone is going to be able to make this change and make this shift. The only way you will be able to make this shift is if you heal your wounds. Because we are moving into a world where there is love and harmony, and there cannot be love and harmony when we continue walking around unconsciously wounding each other. And there is no what's the word I'm looking for? There is no blame here, because we are all, and this is why we have to become conscious. We have to become conscious of where we are part of the problem and where we are inflicting wounds. And this is also wounds to the earth, wounds to the energy, wounds to our ancestors, because our ancestors did so much for us to get here today at a time where it is easier than it ever was, at least in terms, because remember, the spiritual realm governs the non-physical realm, or should I say, the non-physical realm governs this physical realm. And once we start to shift in the non-physical, our emotions, our thoughts, our beliefs, then our actions will change, and the version of us who we be will also change. Then we have last quarter moon in Scorpio. Reveal what needs to be seen. Yes, we are being asked to go deep into the depths of our darkness so we can see the parts of ourselves that we didn't want to see, and we can heal them. And we can stop passing them on, and we can stop healing, and we can stop wounding others, and we can start healing others. First quarter moon in Capricorn. Unleash your kindest self. And the kindest self that you can unleash is the voice inside your head, beautiful souls. How many of you take a moment to pay attention, go inwards. What is the voice that speaks to you inside? What does that voice sound like? Is it harsh and does it shout at you? Is it mean and does it put you down? Does it say that you're terrible and disgusting and you're horrible and you're worthless and you're unlovable and you're not good enough? That is the voice that needs to change. Because if you are not able to love and nurture yourself inside, then you will never be able to love and nurture yourself outside. And you will never be able to build a life that is loving and nurturing if you cannot do this for yourself. First quarter moon in Scorpio. Release your blocks. Yes, beautiful souls. The more tumultuous and hard this journey is, it is because you are not wanting to let go. We tend to grip, Most of us are stuck or in fight or flight, because what happens is when we're in fear, we freeze. We clench our jaw, we squeeze, we're not able to breathe, our heart is not open, we aren't able to think properly because we're in fear. We're in survival mentality, and unfortunately, that is the reality of this matrix system. We are all being pushed to be in survival mentality, but that is the fear inside. This is the fear of the narrative that continues to be pushed and pushed and pushed. It creates fear inside. But remember, beautiful souls, unless you are being attacked physically, gun to your head, someone is trying to kill you, there is nothing to fear. And once you start to put your faith and to trust that all of this is happening for you, and this is just the darkest before the dawn, and the more that you work through this process and work on releasing, identifying and releasing your blocks and coming back to a place of harmony, coming back to a place of kindness, coming back to a place of nurturing, coming back to a place of kindness, then everything will shift. And last but not least, don't dim to fit in. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? And please share with me in the comments down below how or where you have been dimming your light to fit in. And this is unfortunately most of us light workers, most of us light beings, most of us that were chosen to come here and to help humanity elevate and to help humanity heal and to be the lighthouse, to show people that it is safe to be in our power and to shine our light, then you are dimming your light, or you have been dimming your light, and now is no longer the time to dim your light. You came here to heal. You came here to be a beacon of light for humanity. So do not be afraid to shine your light far, far, far and wide, because not only is your light healing humanity, but your light is also helping the light beings that are coming in to help us to reach the state of bliss, to return to the Garden of Eden, to return to heaven on earth. Then you must continue to share your light and to share it far and wide. And the best way you can do this is to forgive. Forgive all those that have wronged you, but most importantly, forgive yourself and love yourself more than you ever had. Peace and blessings to you all. I wish you strength in this journey. I wish you love in this journey, and know that these energies will get easier. If you need guidance in this journey, if you are looking for support, then I am here to help you. You can find out more on how to work with me in the links below through my website. And in the process, please like and share this video, share it with those who also need support, who also need guidance, and most importantly, who need a reminder that they are powerful and they have everything inside of them to heal themselves and to heal others. Much love, and I'll see you next week.